All right, folks, back again. Episode 3. Caution to the airwaves. Here we are, baby. Here we are. Coming off a drama-filled week in the MMA world. Just got back from walking the dogs. It is brick titties outside. Shit. Where do I even start with this one? I mean, I held strong to what I said. No booze this week, folks. No booze, so no hangover. But different type of hangover today. That Call of Duty Warzone 2 hangover. Man, I think I started at like 8:30 playing. Then I look up and I'm like, all of a sudden it was like 11:45. And I'm like, dang, time just flew. And I'm like, all right, I'll get a couple more games. Next thing you know, I look up, it's like 2 o'clock. And I'm not even tired. I'm just not getting tired. I'm getting more and more into it. And I think I might have like pushed it to like 2:30, 3 o'clock. And yeah, so here I am. No booze, but still tired from the good old Call of Duty, or as the kids like to call it, COD. Yeah, so interesting week of MMA. Coming off UFC Fight Night, Derek Lewis versus Sergey Spivak, which, as we know, did not happen. That main event was canceled in the middle of the card, which was pretty interesting, due to a non-COVID illness through Derek Lewis's part. They didn't say what it was, but, Derek Lewis, man, it's just, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't like necessarily his fault. Obviously it's not his fault. You get sick, but I'm just saying, like, Derek Lewis is not the kind of guy that takes care of his body as much as other athletes do in this sport. So I'm not blaming Derek Lewis, but I'm just saying, like, did he do everything he could to come into this fight healthy? I don't know. I mean, did he eat like a bad fucking chicken wing from Popeyes before this or something? I mean, we know he had the sponsorship, but I don't know. But either way, yeah. So that main event got canceled. I mean, but nonetheless, it was a really fun fight card the UFC put on. I had a really good time from start to finish watching that one. Prelim started at 1 o'clock here in New York. I was in front of the TV at 1 o'clock watching those fights. I took it very serious this week. I got very into it. I had a great time. The fights were amazing. Started off with a bang and just didn't kind of stop. Like, all the fights were really fun, really competitive. And we're going to get into that. This weekend we also had Bellator. Bellator put on a card. In case you didn't notice, I'm like, I got the camo and my Eagles gear on for a reason, because we're going to war today. Today is Sunday. We are going to war with the Colts today, coming off that horrendous loss to the Washington, I almost called them the Redskins, but the Commanders, which, yeah, so, I mean, I'll just stop there, but trash. I mean, it was a trash game, bad officiating. Not going to blame the officiating. We fucked up too, but still, just an ugly game. And got a sour taste in my mouth from that one. I know my boys do out there in Philly. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They're in Indianapolis today. But either way, I feel bad for the Colts because we're about to take it out on them today. So check in with me next week to see how that goes. But, yeah, so we had Bellator. Vadim Nemkov took on Corey Anderson for the light heavyweight belt. First fight, obviously, Corey Anderson was winning the fight due to his wrestling, and he got DQ'd in the original due to like a headbutt or something. And so this was the rematch of that fight. That was a fun fight, great fight. And we also had ONE FC. ONE FC also put on a fight card, Amazon Prime. Been loving those Amazon Prime cards. If you have Prime, the fights are free. They put it on like pretty much American times from Singapore. Yeah, I mean, I hope they do more of that. I think that they said that was the last one in their contract, but I hope they do more of that that Amazon Prime shit, because that I love that. More fights, more fun, more everything. Yeah, so where do we start with this one? I guess we got to start with the UFC. I'm just trying to think. What else? Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll start with the UFC. Obviously, like I said, Derek Lewis, Sergey Spivak, main event canceled. Everybody got the news sometime during the prelims. It's always sad when they go to the broadcast booth and they're like, we have some unfortunate news. You're just like, oh no, who's hurt, who's sick, what's going on? And it's the main event, Derek Lewis. Everybody loves Derek Lewis, the Black Beast. I mean, he is a superstar of the UFC. This is a very quiet card as far as names go. I mean, the card was not quiet. It was a great card, but it was not a lot of known names on this one to the casual fan. And yeah, Derek Lewis, big blow to the card, drops out due to illness. That was unfortunate, but nonetheless, I was watching from the beginning, so I could tell how the fights were going. I was enjoying it either way. Obviously, you want to see the Black Beast fight. You want to see him get another knockout. The man's leading knockouts in the UFC amongst all divisions. That's a pretty impressive stat. I mean, sick. But nope, we didn't get to see him perform due to his illness, so that was unfortunate. And instead, the main event was taken place by Kennedy Njoku taking on Ion Cutelaba, which, again, fun fight. Kennedy Njoku, man, this guy from Nigeria, putting on, man, every fight, this guy gets better. Every fight, this guy gets better, man. And his physique looks better every time. I mean, he's a long, rangy guy. I think he's 6'5". And he's like really filling out. I mean, muscles were protruding more than usual. The guy just looked good. He looked good, and that's why I picked him, because the way this guy progresses through his fights and taking on a guy like Ion Cutelaba, kind of grapple heavy, but when he does throw, he just swings recklessly with a reckless abandonment. And yeah, something about this fight just said that Kennedy was going to be able to handle it, use his range, piece him up a little bit. And yeah, I mean, he looked really good, man. Threw good combos. I mean, the guy ultimately just kind of he did get taken down in the first round. He fought it well, fought the takedown very well. Cutelaba just kind of used everything he had to get him down to the ground. It wasn't enough. Took him down, held him down for as long as he could until Njoku was able to stand back up. And Njoku just from there, just honestly, just kind of controlled the fight and just pieced him up on the feet, went to the second round. Ion was obviously more tired, from gassing out, throwing everything he had in that first round. And Njoku just took advantage of that and, took him out on the feet, just put him out, TKO. And this guy, I mean, what a guy though. After in the post-fight interview, shouting out the UFC, giving them their flowers, saying that it's a great organization, and thanks to them, all the amazing things he's able to do for him and his family. It's nice to hear that type of stuff, because a lot of people talk shit when they're not happy with their shit. Then you got someone like Kennedy Njoku who comes in not complaining, does his job, and you know what? They take care of him for that. Like, gets better. The guy is showing like amazing effort into into himself and to the sport in general, and just learning. And goes on to say that he's able to put multiple family members through school because of this money. They gave him the performance bonus, which was nice to see, $50K. Yeah, and just just taking care of his mom, who apparently is sick with some sort of disease. He didn't say what kind, but he said he's able to treat his mom and put his family members through school and help as many of his family members as possible with other things. And it's all, and that's just nice to see. I mean, this guy deserves everything he's getting. He's putting the work in. Hard work pays off, folks, and he is living proof of that. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing all around. So, I mean, I can't wait to see this guy come back. Every time this guy, like I said, every time he fights, he gets better and better. So that just means that every time he fights, I'm going to be looking forward to it, and I'm going to be looking more and more forward to it, and I can't wait to see what's next for this guy, all around. So, yeah. Can you pull up the fight card, actually? I feel like, I know, like, my notes might be a little scattered. Towards the end, I was dropping off. I didn't even write about Kennedy Njoku. I was just like, all right, I got that. Scroll down. All right, yeah. Okay, yeah. Chase Sherman took on Waldo Cortez Acosta. Acosta, I believe they said, is the first Dominican fighter in the UFC. That's pretty cool. It's always nice to see new countries, new nations getting involved in the fight game. And this guy is a beast. I mean, this guy throws heavy hands, and not just heavy hands, but he is crispy with it. He is crispy with it. And you know, has speed with that power. It's just, he is a beast, and he's going to be a problem. But I mean, they just kind of had a firefight in the first round. Waldo was doing everything he could to get Chase Sherman out of there. You thought he was going to gas out completely. I mean, they kind of gassed out, but it was still entertaining through all 3 rounds. And that's impressive when the heavyweights do that. You know, when the heavyweights can have a firefight, and, you know, people are getting wobbled, people are getting stunned, black eyes. Chase Sherman was a little beat up just from the first round. Chase Sherman also did well, very effective with his leg kicks. It was a close fight, but Waldo Acosta tend to be the more active fighter. He tended to throw more in punches and bunches, and Chase Sherman was walking him down with the control most of the time. But either way, I think you know, it comes down to the first thing the judges are looking at is strike count. You know, pretty much who's the more active fighter, especially on the feet. And Acosta was that guy. Acosta just stayed busy the whole fight. Even when he looked tired, he would step back, recover, let Chase walk him down a little bit, and then just come back with amazing firepower and just ultimately got the decision win, a unanimous decision win. The fight was close. Chase Sherman is a dog. Both these men are dogs. I mean, both these men were landing knockout punches and somehow just taking it. I couldn't believe it. Fun fight. Before that fight, we had scroll down a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh man, Muslim Salikov against Andre Fiallo. Salikov, man, this guy, what a character. I mean, this guy, so unexpected. You know, you look at him, another Dagestani, you know, mixed martial artist, which we all assume that when you see Dagestan, Russia, you assume master level wrestling, and that's not Salikov. Salikov is more master level striking, because this guy, he, at first, you know, I picked Andre Fiallo to win this fight, mainly because I've seen Fiallo's fights before this. The guy fights like a dog. He has a chin of steel, which he showed in this fight. He's willing to get in there. He's willing to, you know, exchange, which obviously with someone like Salikov, in hindsight, it seems like, duh, like I should have went with Salikov. But sometimes I just have faith in someone's heart. You know what I mean? You can't predict heart in a fight. Heart heart alone can win you a fight. Depending on the other person's heart as well. Don't get me wrong. But and in this fight, I mean, both guys showed heart, but Fiallo tremendously showed heart. The guy, I mean, Salikov, man, this guy throws everything he throws when he lets it go is so tight and technical, and oh my god, it just comes out like everything he throws just comes out like a fucking gunshot. Spinning back kick, usually that's a hard thing to throw. It's a very open, you know, strike. And this man just throws it tight and just fast as possible. And you wouldn't think it. What are they? Welterweights? You know, they're big welterweights. They're jacked. Salikov kind of like, I'm not going to say he has a dad bod, but, you know, when he comes to the fight, he kind of looks a little bit like he has that daddish look, but he is not that. This guy is a freak athlete. This guy produces so much torque in his strikes. It's ridiculous. It's kind of scary. His first spinning back kick he threw, or I'm sorry, spinning heel kick. His first spinning heel kick he threw was so fast that, I mean, even the commentator said right away, they said, if that lands, I mean, there's no way you're not out and you're done. You're done after that lands. Thankfully, it didn't land. But, I mean, this guy landed some other shit that would take anybody out. But Fiallo somehow stayed with it. And towards the end, it got a little sketchy, right? Fiallo, too tough for his own good. One of those situations where he's taking strikes. The guy just looked like he was out on his feet. He was standing there. He just like wasn't throwing. He was backing up, defending barely, but like still just getting pieced up but not going out the whole time. So it's like, what do you do? I mean, he's on his feet. He looks like he's defending. For a ref, that must look like, you know, you got to kind of let it go. But towards the end, you could tell it was like, this guy is compromised. This is when concussions happen. This is when really bad things happen. And thankfully, the ref did the right thing and stepped in and stopped that fight. while it was still standing. Fialho tried everything he could to stay in it. He even contested a little bit at the end. But I by the end of that fight, I was saying, stop the fight. Please stop the fight. Because he's not doing anything back. Salikov is still throwing like horrific, just dangerous stuff. And just, the wrong thing catches you when you're in that state of mind. And it could be lights out forever. And we do not want to see that. I mean, love the sport. I want to see these guys safe. Want to see them compete as long as possible. As safe as possible. So it was a good stoppage. Shout out Muslim Salikov. He had a funny little interview at the end too. He cut a little promo at the end. He was toying with he gave Bisping some flowers. Said how Bisping's an amazing fighter and everything. I love when people appreciate Bisping. Because I was one of those people with Bisping who hated Bisping when he came in the UFC. Typical, just he came in, one of the first guys from the UK. Here we are. I'm an American. Not that I was doing like American pride or anything. I didn't care that much about that. I mean, I was a big Anderson Silva fan, fans of everyone, Vanderlei, all the guys from all over the world. But something about Bisping just came in arrogant as fuck and I mean, it was part of his stick. He was trying to piss you off to get you to buy the fights, and it worked with me until he got knocked out by Henderson. And that was a beautiful American moment for us. Like when, this American that we all love, Dan Henderson, shut Bisping up with that massive thing. I mean, the little disrespectful at the end with that jumping fucking Superman punch when he was knocked out. But either way, Bisping has grown since then to, I mean, look at me going off on Bisping. It's because I love Bisping. But I had to say, I mean, because Bisping, because Salikov he was giving him props. And I always like to take a moment to remind people that Bisping, regardless if you were one of those people that hated him in the beginning, this guy eventually he didn't shut his mouth, but he got serious. He grew the hair out. He grinded his way to the top, lost the fight, would have to grind his way back up, beat Anderson Silva in an amazing fight in England. That's like kind of the fight that turned me on Bisping. And when he beat Anderson, because I watched that fight. I watched it over multiple times. He definitely won that decision, even with the knee at the end of that fourth. And then eventually went on to become a champion. Knocked out Luke Rockhold. I mean, defended against Dan Henderson. Got a hard, a hard fought decision win over Dan Henderson, getting his fucking face beat up in that fight, still prevailing and winning, defending the belt, and ultimately losing the GSP in Madison Square Garden. But what are you going to do? It's GSP. Moving up to middleweight. The guy was a freak, still is. But yeah, that's enough of my little Bisping praise. But yeah, and then we had another prospect on this card. I mean, a super prospect, Jack Della Maddalena. This guy fighting out of Australia is a savage. I mean, look at his picture. K-Dog, look at the picture. Look at his nose. Pull him up. Look at the nose. When a fighter comes up to you and his nose is basically looks broken before the fight, be scared of that guy because he doesn't give a fuck. And the odds were crazy in this fight. He was like I don't even know, like a minus 600, 700, 800 favorite. Danny Roberts coming in plus 500. I remember seeing, and it seemed a little disrespectful. It was like, damn, they're shitting on Danny Roberts. Danny Roberts has been around. He's knocked some people out. Danny Roberts has a shot in this. No, he didn't. Jack Della fucking walked through this guy. Fucking just straight smashed. Another guy. Oh my god, this guy. What division is this? Is this lightweight? Welterweight. Okay. Yeah, Jack Della. Keep an eye out for this guy. Shout out Australia. Australia is producing some badass motherfuckers out here. Got obviously the champ Volkanovski, about to step up and take on Islam Makhachev. I mean, that move alone is just such a badass thing to do, and I know he's confident too. But yeah, I love Australia. Shout out Bam Bam, tied to Ivasa. All right. Back to the notes. Oh man, another great fight. Gotta talk about this. Fucking Zhalgas Zulagulov. This fight was crazy. Taking on Charles Johnson. I mean, this was like foul central. Such a high pace, fast paced fight. These guys were going at it, man. But every I was saying during this fight, when you have these chippy kind of fights, when dudes are just throwing everything and it's so entertaining, you're gonna eventually get a foul. In this one we saw like 4 or 5 cup shots where they had to stop the fight for a couple minutes. A lot of foot stomping, a lot of people doing their weird techniques to try to recover from getting their fucking nuts wrecked. But and yeah, but regardless of it, was an entertaining fight. Personally, I thought Zula Gulov, I thought he did enough to earn the decision, even though Charles Johnson ended the fight very well. There was that moment in the fight where he got leg kicked, and you could tell his leg went to sleep or something. He was like dragging it and also like stomping it behind him, trying to recover the whole time, just stomping the leg, trying to wake it back up. And I guess he did. I guess he woke that thing up, because all of a sudden he wasn't doing that no more, and he was moving a lot better, and he was throwing with some fucking vicious power. Zula Gulov kind of looked like he gassed out a little bit at the end. You know, maybe in pride rules I could see like he definitely, I would say he would have lost, but in regular MMA rules I thought he won, 2 of the 3 rounds, but he didn't. Charles Johnson got the win. Charles Johnson, kind of a little resembling of Bobby Green, right? Maybe we'll throw a little side-by-side picture on this. I don't know. But Charles Johnson with looks like Bobby Green a little bit. He looks like, what is he? Some sort. I don't know what Charles. I'm not gonna pretend to know, but he looks like Bobby Green a little bit. Kind of had the same little striped beard thing going on. Oh, by the way, speaking of beards, I mean, the reason why I'm looking so fucking raggedy right now. I'm like half doing No Shave November. I kind of just said it. I think I low key was just trying to like maybe save some money and be lazy. But so who knows? I mean, now that I said it, I'm just gonna say fuck it and grow the beard out. Is it cheating if I get a shape up? If you shape it, what would you say? Yeah. If you were to not touch the length and you just kind of shaped it up. I mean, you're talking to me in sign language, but I'll pretend to know. Shape up is okay? Yeah, I think so too. Shape up around the sides, but now is the fade, is that breaking the No Shave November? Is No Shave November kind of just nothing, like you just let it grow? I feel like that's low key like what it kind of is. But if I were to get it shaped up, you're not gonna tell me I shaved. It's gonna be longer, but whatever. I might get it shaped up. I might not. Either way. I mean, what do we have? 1 more week, 1.5 more weeks of November. Thanksgiving this week. On an off topic, getting very excited for Thanksgiving. Oh man, I mean, I don't know what you guys do, but we start with some prosciutto and some fresh mozzarella, usually from Hoboken, where my mother lives. Oh man, I'm just thinking about my brother's gonna be here today. He's on his way. He's en route right now to my house. Yeah, my brother who actually is doing boxing right now. He was supposed to fight this weekend, but they weren't able to get him a matchup. No one was able to take the fight. So he just ended up going to the event and watching it. But not too long ago, he did get his first win in boxing, which it made me extremely proud. It was awesome to see. It was awesome to hear about. I'm going to make my way down there, down to the Carolinas, and go catch one of his fights real soon. But yeah, man, he's on his way up here. Might set up the tree this week, Thanksgiving, man. Oh, just now I'm just thinking about food. I'm kind of hungry. But yeah, let's get back on topic now. Yeah, I mean, the UFC had some great fights. It was a fun card, man. The fun card. I mean, it started off Natalia Silva. Natalia, I just want to mention her just because she started the card with a bang. I mean, came out, got taken down in the first after landing some really nice strikes. She was obviously the better striker on her feet. Paulo Costa in the corner. But she oh my god, so she threw a spinning back kick in the first round and she got taken down off of it, and then eventually just kind of lost the round because of that. Like, couldn't get back up really. The other girl was really strong on the ground, held her down very well. But Natalia Silva fought through. Every time she got to her feet, she let it go. She landed beautiful strikes, and then in the third round lands a beautiful spinning back kick, the same one she threw in the first round, throws it in the third round. Just horrible timing by her opponent to shoot on her legs. I'm sorry, I'm like blanking on her name right now, but just went for a lazy shot. The girl was gassed out, went for a lazy shot, and Natalia Silva threw a spinning back kick and just landed it flush on the face and just TKO right from there. I just want to mention it because I became a fan out of Natalia Silva because of this fight. I can't wait to watch her in the future. These Brazilian girls are no joke. Yeah, fuck, man, I can't wait. But yeah, anyway, yeah. Okay, so I guess we could talk some Bellator. Let's talk some Bellator, eh? A little Bellator. This weekend was full of some mixed martial arts. We got Bellator. We got ONE FC was putting on some grapple matches, some Muay Thai matches. Rod Tang made an appearance again, doing what Rod Tang does. I get. You know what? Now I'm all over the place. Fuck it. We'll just start with Bellator. Vadim Nemkov took on Corey Anderson. Now, like I said, Vadim Nemkov was being out wrestled in their first fight. Corey Anderson was winning the fight the whole time up until the very end, where there was like some sort of a headbutt that got Corey Anderson disqualified. Nemkov got to keep his belt. But then what does Nemkov do? What every great fighter should do. Look at himself in the mirror, say, why was I losing that fight? And then figure out what's the best way to train for this so in the rematch I could be better equipped to handle this. So what does he do? Makes his move out to American Top Team. Wrestles with the best they got. Gets his wrestling game up. Gets his wrestling defense up. And boy, did he step his wrestling defense up. My man, it's probably a hard stat to find, but he was like, Corey Anderson was like 0 for like 12 or 0 for 13, maybe even more. It was in the teens, 0 for something, 0 for like 13, we'll say. Even if it's that, I mean, that's crazy. 0 for 13 in takedowns on Nemkov. So Nemkov just, oh my god, and it was such a good fight too. Nemkov is talk about Nemkov is high level, and now Corey Anderson kind of is just Corey Anderson. He kind of looks similar. I mean, Corey Anderson has some power in his hands, and we all know him to be a great wrestler as well. But Nemkov, I love seeing when a fighter fights and you could just tell that they have a mentality where they don't want to lose, but sometimes they just get bested by their opponent. And I love when a fighter like barely loses or even just loses, but you could tell that they're better than that, and then they come back, and then the next fight you could tell that they, like, since that day they've been doing nothing but working on not letting that happen again, and then they just perform and they show what they've learned, they show their improvements, and they put it to real life and end up doing what Nemkov does, which is getting the win, retaining his belt. And man, I was so happy to see it because it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I want to say Fedor was in his corner too. Always helps to have the legendary Fedor Emelianenko in your corner. Hall of Fame heavyweight, obviously. And yeah, it was a fun fight. Corey landed well, it was like I said, it was a good fight. It was very close. But regardless, Nemkov definitely got a unanimous decision, rightfully so. And then they announced shortly after that, Nemkov is going to take on Yoel Romero in February. I mean, who does it? Right after you fight for a title fight, they immediately, I guess they probably had it lined up that way. If you win, it's probably in the contract, you win, we're going to make this fight right away. Probably already pre-agreed to it, assuming. But yeah, so now Nemkov's going to take on Yoel Romero in February for the belt. That's going to be fun. Now, personally, Nemkov, like I said, one of these fighters who's progressing. He's getting better. He's like every fight the guy gets better, and he's high level, and he's just continuing to get better. So for this reason, and Yoel Romero, on the other hand, I mean, the guy's not getting really worse, let's be honest. The guy is a freak of nature. He's built different. Literally, like, that phrase goes to Yoel Romero. He is built different, literally. Quick fact, just want to kind of, like, tell my boy over here, too. He went to the hospital, and you guys, too, for you that don't know. He went to the hospital, and because I think he had a broken orbital bone in a fight, and he went to the hospital. And when they got the x-rays done, it was good? We good? Oh, okay. He was getting x-rays done, and the doctor reached out to Dana White or the UFC and was like, where did you find this guy? And he's like, well, yeah, he's a freak of nature, right? Because, obviously he's jacked. The dude is shredded. He's like 40 plus years old and he's just shredded and freak genetics. He's like, yeah, he's crazy, right? He's like, no, you don't understand. This is like, I'm almost doing like a Joe Rogan impression because this is how he tells the story. But he's like, this guy, like his eye bone was already healing itself, and it was like only like a 2-day thing, like in between. Like his eye bone is like healing way faster than normal people's like breaks happen. And not just that, but his skull structure is like significantly thicker than the average man's. Like just his bones are just way denser than the average man. Like pretty much doctors saying he's never seen anyone like this guy, built like this guy. So that's why when I say that Yoel Romero's built different, he's literally built different. And but nonetheless, I mean, my guy is getting older and older. What is he now? 45. Look up Yoel Romero's age. Just Google Yoel Romero age. I think he's 45. Actually, he could even be 46. Let's see. Now I'm just curious, but let's just say 45. Okay, so 45 years old. The guy's not getting any younger. I mean, is the guy still going to be dangerous? Of course. Is he going to have that knockout power? Of course. Is he still going to be explosive? Of course. Is he still going to? No, I mean, he hasn't used his wrestling in a while, let's be honest. But either way, all those things I just said, he has it still, nonetheless. But Nemkov, I'm just saying, this is a guy, he's continuing to get better. This is going to definitely boost his confidence for sure on this fight. He's going to get to use his striking, which he's very good at. And I just see Nemkov being a little too well-rounded and skillful for Yoel Romero in this one. I think Yoel is probably going to have some moments, though, where it's, some scary moments where he could potentially hurt Nemkov. I could see that happening easily, but I just think Nemkov will train hard for this fight as well, get better, and do what he has to do to get this W. I think Nemkov is one of these guys that we should be talking about. I think Nemkov is a future name for the pound-for-pound list. So, yeah, I think that's enough with that. But shout out Vadim Nemkov. Had to talk about that. Before we had the co-main event, Usman Nurmagomedov took on Patricky Pitbull for the belt. I believe that's featherweight. I can't remember now. You want to Google that too as well. I know Patricky fights featherweight and bantam. I think it's bantamweight. Yeah, what's it say? Wait, hold on, right there. No, it says lightweight. What the hell? Go down. Sorry. No, keep going down. Just keep going. Tapology. Click that. Down to his first fight. Keep going. Right there. Keep going. Right there. Doesn't even say. Click it. Yeah, co-main. Lightweight. Oh, wow. Okay, so lightweight, 155. Usman dominated this fight. Patricky Pitbull had nothing for Usman. Now, I saw a stat now because of this win that Usman Nurmagomedov, Umar Nurmagomedov, and Khabib Nurmagomedov, if you put all three of their records together, they're 60-0. Now, they're all family, obviously, cousins, brothers, as they like to say. They're all just brothers. I mean, that's how it is. And yeah, all of them. So now what was? Oh, my bad. Now scroll up. To his record. Usman, scroll up. Right there, 16-0 now off this win. Usman is a problem. I can't see too many people in the Bellator lightweight division that are going to give this guy a problem. I mean, I can't even think of too many lightweights, even in Bellator right now as we speak. But yeah, Usman did some serious fucking ground and pound on this one. Split Patricky wide open with some vicious elbows. Just straight, just was overwhelmed. Patricky had nothing for him. And yeah, we have a new lightweight champion in Usman Nurmagomedov. You got to mention it. I mean, he's a family member of Khabib, 16-0. Fucking destroyed one of the pound for pound guys everyone likes to talk about in Patricky Pitbull. And this guy's a problem. I mean, who knows? Maybe one day we get to see this guy in the big leagues with the UFC boys. Who knows? Who knows? After Islam's run, maybe Usman steps in. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm sure Bellator will do everything to keep this guy because he is a star. And honestly, Bellator is stepping up too. They have some good competition out there. Like I just said, Vadim Nemkov. I hope people talk more about that guy because he deserves it. Go back to the notes now. There was also ONE FC this weekend out of Singapore. Christian Lee took on Kia Miram Abasov. Which amazing fight. I know sometimes it may sound like I'm just saying that, but I'm not. Trust me. Like I would say, anybody that did not catch this fight, and if you're a mixed martial arts fan, or if you're just a fan of combat sports in general, if you're a fan of adrenaline, if you're a fan of entertainment, go watch the Christian Lee Abasov fight because that was in the beginning back and forth. Abasov almost had Christian Lee out of there. I thought they were going to stop the fight. Maybe should have at one point, but obviously not because Christian Lee did prevail and work through it and came back and recovered. Like we talked about, had that Pereira in him where he just was able to almost get knocked out and then recover. This fight was it was great. It was so entertaining. Christian Lee, I was very aware of Christian Lee. Never really caught many of his fights, so I really didn't know what the crazy hype was about in Christian Lee. Now I get it, because that guy Abasov too was a dog, and he had a fucking chin of granite, and he did not want to quit on himself, and he just did everything he could to stay in that fight. Almost got Christian Lee out of there, like I said. Abasov gassed a little bit, but then he was able to recover as well. Very good fight. Christian Lee, fucking amazing striker. And eventually I think he hurt Abasov with either a body strike and then just eventually was able to ground and pound him and get him out of there in the fourth round to retain, or I think to become a double champ now in ONE FC with those gigantic WWE style belts, which is pretty sick. So yeah, just shout out Christian Lee. That guy, I was happy I got to see him fight. I see what the hype's about. This guy is real. ONE FC, they all got some talent out there, folks. ONE FC especially. I love now because the co-main event of this one was Rodtang taking on Joseph Lasiri. It was a Muay Thai fight. So I love this idea of a promotion putting on multiple mixed martial arts fights style matchups in one card. So in the beginning of this card, there was some grappling matches. One specifically to mention was Danielle Kelly, who's from the tri-state area. I think she was Philly girl, trains in New York City with the Gracies, and is just a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And she had a grappling match against a Sambo girl. Disposed of this girl very quickly within 2.5 minutes, maybe tops. Was able to get a rear naked choke. I think she even was like calling out the champion, one of the ONE FC girls. I don't know if she was trying to move into mixed martial arts or not, but her jiu-jitsu was nasty. But like I said, we got Rodtang was the co-main event and taking on Lasiri. Muay Thai fight. Oh man, people need to get into Muay Thai. Muay Thai is everything we love about striking. It's just, the art of 8 limbs, as they say, hands, elbows, knees, feet. And it was all on display. Rodtang is considered like the best right now, probably pound for pound in Muay Thai, actively doing it. This guy is just a bulldozer of a man. Just straight walks through, fucking, and like people. There's just highlights on highlights of this guy just walking through people, punching him in the face, and being like, "You're not shit. You're not shit. Stop it. Stop it. This is embarrassing yourself." And then just lets off vicious, high-powered fucking striking, and just is able to dispose of these people that are high level themselves, but he makes high level people look like shit. And Lasiri, no joke, but just obviously just nowhere near Rodtang's level of power, level of just everywhere. Well, just everywhere he's better than him. But obviously Rodtang lost to Demetrius Johnson in the hybrid fight. which is cool. Which was when Demetrius Johnson, obviously, Mighty Mouse, took on Rod Tang in a hybrid fight where the first round was Muay Thai and the second round was mixed martial arts. The third round Muay Thai, fourth round mixed martial arts, fifth round Muay Thai. But that fight was interesting because you got to see in the first round, Rod Tang comes out. Demetrius Johnson, we all know he's considered the pound for pound GOAT amongst a lot of people. And in the first round, Rod Tang was like walking through Demetrius Johnson, really trying to put him out. It was looking really scary for Demetrius Johnson, but he was able to move around and avoid him just enough to make it to the second round. And once it went to mixed martial arts, Demetrius Johnson was able to take him down and submit him. And it was just crazy the difference. Like the first round, Rod Tang's walking down Demetrius Johnson. Demetrius Johnson obviously can't grapple. It's just Muay Thai. So the whole time, Demetrius Johnson's just running away and just avoiding scary shots. And then the minute it turns to mixed martial arts, Rod Tang is backing up scared of Demetrius Johnson because Demetrius Johnson can now take you down, which, Rod Tang doesn't have any training in takedown defense. I'm sure he did the bare whatever he could before that fight, but it's not going to be enough for someone who's been training their whole life. And Demetrius Johnson was just able to quickly just land strikes because Rod Tang's so worried about the takedown, and then eventually get wait for one big shot, get the takedown, and submitted him very easily, which goes to show you why mixed martial arts is just the ultimate like sport, because it's literally all the arts of combat in one. I mean, and I don't know how these people train for this shit. I don't know how people become so high level. Like, how do you have the time to train? Like, I'm going to do boxing for 2 hours today, and then I'm going to come back tonight and do jiu-jitsu for 2 hours, and tomorrow I'm going to do wrestling, and then maybe I'll touch back on some kickboxing, some Muay Thai. It's just like whatever you feel that you want to put together to, create your favorite fighting style. That's why I love the sport so much. It's just so interesting. I mean, so many different, there people do karate, people do taekwondo, and all of these are very effective in the sport. Speaking of karate, good segue into not next week, because this week UFC is off this week, but pull up next week's card. This is right there, Thompson Holland. This is a pay-per-view level fight card right here. Scroll down. Let's just rattle off a couple of these. Stephen Thompson taking on Kevin Holland in the main event, obviously. Now scroll down. Co-main event, Bam Bam Barberena taking on Rafael Dos Anjos, RDA. Amazing matchup. Barberena coming off a few knockout wins lately. RDA. Now just said he's looking to have some fun with some lesser. He asked for not someone that's not top 5, and he got Bam Bam Barberena. So at welterweight, going back up to welterweight from lightweight. Then we got Matthias Nicolau taking on Matt Schnell. Fun little grapple fight there. High-level jiu-jitsu. Scroll down. Keep going. Just keep going. Tai Tuivasa, Sergey Pavlovich. Tai Tuivasa is a fucking main event level guy. He headlined the pay-per-view. Or no, was it? No, sorry. He headlined a fight card with Ciryl Gane. Just recently, fucking who doesn't love Bam Bam? Shuey Central out here, baby. Derek Brunson taking on Jack Hermanson, high-level middleweight bout. Keep going. Eric Anders, Kyle Dawkins to start the card. Who doesn't love Eric Anders? Former Alabama alumni football player, national champ, taking on the Philadelphian Kyle Dawkins, who notably beat Kevin Holland in recently. A little controversy win, but it was a win. Scroll down. We're in the prelims now, folks. Nico Price taking on Phil Rowe. Scroll down. Nico Price, by the way, Florida native. This fight's in Orlando. That's going to set off the main card big time right there. Angela Hill, Emily Ducote. We all love Angie Hill, right? Fucking Clay Guida. Who doesn't love Clay Guida? Taking on Scott Holtzman, who I was saying I can't wait to see back in there. I haven't seen him for a while. Obviously, Clay Guida is such a legend of the sport. Has been there since like day one, basically. Still doing it. It's always fun. Always a good time when Clay Guida's in there. Michael Johnson taking on Mark DeCasey. That's going to be some fucking fireworks, fast hands, fast everything in that fight. That's going to be very entertaining. Darren Elkins taking on Jonathan Pierce. Two savages. Darren Elkins, obviously nicknamed the Damage. Why does he call that? I mean, I think he called himself that probably because he thought he gives out damage, but really this guy takes so much damage in his fights and has been known to prevail through that damage and win multiple times. Sometimes the damage gets to him and he loses, but nonetheless, the nickname is fitting because that guy gives it, he takes it, and it's just all around chaos with that guy. I mean, this fight, woo! I mean, talk about a sexy fight stylistically and visually. Tracy Cortez taking on Amanda Ribas. Tracy Cortez, Mexican girl, comes from Invicta FC. Been following this girl for a while too. You know, don't let the pretty face fool you. This girl is a savage. Dates obviously Brian Ortega, another. So you know that's just that since they've been dating, that can only up her game, especially her ground game, which she already was a beast ass wrestler. And Amanda Ribas, so like once again, I mean, who doesn't love Amanda Ribas? Her bubbly personality, she's hilarious, but she's also just very technical in her own right. Jiu-jitsu black belt. And also has decent hands to go with it. So that's going to be a fun fight. That's a hot fight. Now keep going. Scroll back. Go back. I just want to read off this card because the names are not stopping. Keep going down. Keep going. Yeah. So that, all right. And then we got a few fights before that. 2 or 3 fights. Slightly less known names, but that's 3 fights out of like whatever I just named. That's all. Like this whole card is stacked, and I cannot wait. It's going to take place in Orlando, Florida. I'm assuming there's going to be a rowdy big crowd there, and I think we could all have some fun with that one for sure. I'm gonna get my boy on next week too, to talk about this fight. Hopefully he doesn't bitch out, but so yeah, that's something to look forward to. Have my good old buddy over here to talk some mixed martial arts. I mean, me and my boy, we talk about this shit on a regular basis, and we could get lost for hours just going off about matchups, potential matchups, and all the things. And then we're off next week, folks. No, I'm not. I'll be here, but the UFC is off next week. But we will be here to talk about this upcoming card. We'll and you know what, we'll save the money talk for next week. That way you'll get 2 minds on this thing. We'll have 2 people talking about it. You know, you'll hear some good points, hopefully, about what to do with your money or not. I mean, what is it, like fucking 26 of you guys watching this? How many of you do you even gamble? We don't know, but maybe someone out there, maybe one of you, I'm looking at you right now, maybe one of you will find my page and you will become a rich person next weekend, sorry. Not this upcoming weekend, next weekend. All right, yeah, so anyway, I gotta go. The Eagles are about to come on. Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory and the Super Bowl. God bless. Peace.